I'm also good. So can you tell me something about yourself?
Okay, first of all, good evening.
Good evening.
I'm just recording, ma'am.
Okay, that's fine. Tell me something about yourself.
Okay, so we are meeting for the first time, so we should introduce ourselves. So, shall I introduce myself?
Yes, please.
Okay, first of all, thank you very much for giving me this beautiful opportunity to introduce myself. So, this is Bablu Kisko. I am connecting from Hooghly, West Bengal. As far as my qualification is concerned, I have completed masters in English literature. And if I talk about my interest, I love to play cricket, football, and having conversation with different kinds of people. And right now, by profession, I am a teacher. That's all about me. Thank you for asking me.
Okay, that's really good to hear. Should I introduce myself or you know about me?
Of course, ma'am.
And I'm an English trainer by profession. I have been teaching English online for 10 years. And about my educational background, I'm postgraduate in English as well as I'm TFL TESOL certified trainer. And I'm from Delhi and I really love to do shopping. This is all about me.
I'm very glad to hear about yourself.
Okay. You are also a teacher?
Yes, ma'am. I am a teacher. I teach in a government high school.
Okay. All right.
So, so tell me about something yourself. How do you teach? How do you, as you said that you are a language trainer. So, which kinds of students do you teach, and what is the method of your teaching?
Mhm. See, I take you generally, I have learners almost all age groups, depending on the kind of the requirement. Before Corona, I have mostly international students outside India, and after Corona, I have students from India as well. Because I only teach online, I don't teach offline at all. Like full time, I teach online, and I'm even planning like my batches are also going on because earlier I teach one to one. So now I have like both one to one as well as batches, which I teach. And the kind of learners are generally the professional people, those who are like very good at their workplace. They know a lot of technical things, but they are lacking in their communication because they do not get job due to it, or they are not getting promotions. So I help those people reach their full potential, as well as I help the people clarifying their job interviews, like what tricks and tips they should follow that they can get the job. Because I guarantee if you're taking classes from me within that time period of 3 to 4 months, you will be getting the job, because I tell them and teach them the practical tips like which really works in. And apart from that, outside India, I have few students as well whom I teach. Like the students, they are already very good in speaking English, but what their problem area is writing. If they have to write something in English, they are struggling with grammar and spelling mistakes, they do a lot. So these are the kind of students I teach. Some I also have housewives, because the main problem with them is they have to talk in their kids parents teacher meeting, so they need to present themselves well. So these are the kind of students whom I teach, and the kind of methodology I use is practical. I don't teach anything bookish. I don't teach much about grammar. Whatever is required, I teach. Like, I don't lecture my classes because lecturing doesn't help. I make them practice within the class. So once they will be practicing within the class, they improve a lot. So I give practical training, because after the class I'm not very sure of if they are really doing something or not. And I always say before any student begin, I guarantee the result. So I can guarantee when I make them practice within my classes. So I make sure that I make them practice within my classes. These all
That's
are the things I do. Rest, if you have any other question, you can ask me. Yeah.
that sounds great, and you are doing very commendable job, I can say.
Thank you so much.
So as in my case, ma'am, earlier I used to focus only on grammar, reading, writing. So that's why I'm very good at those parts. But in terms of speaking, I'm not to the up to the level. So that's why I'm still practicing. And apart from that, I want to. I am blessed with my son. I have a one son, so that's why I want to give him proper English speaking background. And I, in my personal case also, I want to be the better version of myself than before. And these are the reason for learning this language.
Okay, that's really good. So how old is your son?
My son is 6 years, 6 years old.
Yeah, I must say this is the right age that you should inculcate English learning with him, because if you will be joining and doing the things from now onwards, he will never struggle in the future. Because if his basics are very strong, so he will never. I tell you one more thing, what you can do it is speak in English with him all the time. Even suppose he replies to you in Hindi. Is Hindi your mother language?
No, my mother tongue is Santali.
Okay, so
Santali.
even if he replies in mother language, you keep on speaking in English, because it happens kids are more comfortable in the mother language, so they want to follow, they want to speak in that. So what you have to do, you always try to speak in English with him, even though he replies in the mother language. And after some period, you will see that it has become his habit. He will start to revert you also in English, and he will understand also. But for you, you have to be persistent all the time. And next it is, suppose you should also think in English all the time. Like whatever work you are doing, think in English, because if you will be thinking in English, then English will comes the best out of your mouth. So you should keep on trying to do these things, and surely you will be improving. And even your son will improve English a lot. And if you have seen my channel, so in that I just gave one activity, word chain activity. Have you seen any activity like this?
Yes, yes, ma'am. What chain
So
activities
you
I have
can
seen?
do the same activity with your son. That's wonderful activity. He will enjoy a lot. His brain will improve, and you will see he start learning English.
Okay,
So
okay,
this
ma'am.
is something you can do, and this will really give positive results in the learning. And also you can play a game with him like this, sentence completion game. Suppose you say a sentence, you say I'm very happy today, then you ask your son that beta we are playing a game and you have to end, you have to continue. Suppose you said I'm very happy today, so your son will say, oh, I got some new shoes, or I got a new pen. So then you will continue the another sentence. So kids love these kind of activities, and once you do these things, they improve also and they enjoy also, and you can spend some quality time with your kids.
Nowadays, I speak in English with my son also, and my son also tries to speak in English also. So
That's really
he can speak a little bit English, I can say.
okay. That's really good and wonderful.
So, ma'am, in order to be a fluent speaker, so how can a student be a fluent speaker, and how much time will it take to be a fluent speaker?
See, first of all, it depends on the kind of the level a student it is, and it depends on the kind of the stage, whether he's a basic, intermediate, or advanced learner. But then also, I tell you, tentatively, it takes around 4 to 5 months, a minimum of. Maximum, you can stretch up to 6 months. If suppose a learner is doing from 6 months, and after that also he is not getting the result, that is the high time to check if you are really following the right practice or not. I heard many people, they say, ma'am, we are doing it and learning for 5 months, 6 months, even for 5 years, for 2 years. So that means you are not following the right approach. Because if you are being following the right approach, then it take only 5 to 6 months. Nowadays, with a lot of modern approach and lot of techniques that has been introduced. But if you are taking more than 6 months to be fluent in English, that means you surely need to check if you are using the right approach or not. That means you are doing what this is saying, you are doing what he is saying, you are doing what he is saying, so you are not following the right approach. So I say follow the right approach. So it takes 5 to 6 months, not more than that, to learn English and to be a fluent speaker. And the important things that a learner need to have is be focused. Suppose what happened, people they learn for two like 20 days or so. After that they start losing their focus, and they leave their consistency also. They start with full enthusiasm, but when they are on the way they just leave it. They wonder, it's not my cup of tea. So this is the major problem. They have to think. Suppose a child goes to a class. Suppose your child is in class 1. So if you know, like after 1 year only his class 1 will be completed. So similarly a learner should wonder, it is my 6 months course, and then practice, because they wonder, let me just give it a try for 1 month, how I will be learning. So then it doesn't work. This is the major thing I'm telling you what people do. Next, it is that how to be a fluent speaker. There are a lot of techniques which a learner can do. Nowadays, there are so many videos. Everybody keeps on uploading related to it. So, number one thing is to practice. Like you say, you are following the traditional method. So, you are good in other areas, but you are not good in speaking. So, nowadays, speaking is the first thing that a learner should do, because nobody will come to your home to check what you are doing in writing, or even if even I'm telling you while speaking also you do 1 or 2 errors, it is acceptable. But you should keep on speaking. Stand in front of the mirror. Even suppose we had a conversation, right after a conversation, you stand in front of the mirror and speak up what we talk about. So in this way, you can improve a lot. You just speak, like, because speaking is important, and speaking in the flow is important. And when the content is already fresh in your mind, you can speak more. And next step, it is to think in English, because if your input is English, then the output is English. So if you will think in English, you will speak in English. But if you will keep on thinking in mother language and you wonder English would come out of your mouth, it's not possible. So try to think in English all the time. And apart from that, reading books loudly really helps a lot. So one should read books loudly as well. Okay, so these are the few things a learner can do to improve himself.
That's why nowadays my full focus has shifted to my speaking skill. I always try to keep on practicing every single day and try to think in English. Whatever I do from morning till night, I try to think in English all the activities.
That's really good. Even one more thing you can add on to it, you can write at the end of the day. Like whatever you are thinking, you can just take 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Even if you don't want to write, you can type in your mobile whatever you have done the whole day. That also really plays a very important role, because writing is considered as an underrated step for improvement, but actually it helps a lot.
Okay, so I would like to ask you one thing more. While having conversation with someone, so at that time my mind goes blank. Though I have a lot of vocabs in my mind, but at that same time my mind goes blank. I get stuck. So what should I do at that time, or how can I remove this problem?
My channel and watch this video, what to do when my mind goes blank. And otherwise I tell you here in the class as well, in our session as well, what you have to do when your mind goes blank. See, first of all, don't aim of using lot of vocabulary words. Why? Because first step is to improve your basics. I always say vocabulary is a decoration to your speech. Like first you improve your basic things, then the decoration to your speech is vocabulary. So but what people do, what the learners do, they don't improve their basic and they keep on focusing to vocabulary. So you should stop doing it from today onwards. Focus more and more on the way you are speaking and not on vocabulary. Okay, vocabulary is like the last step a person should focus. So first of all, the way you are speaking should be fluent. And if you say my mind goes blank, your mind will go blank once you will prepare something and you are not able to present that. Then your mind goes blank. So you stop preparing. You do not prepare before speaking. You just speak up when it comes to you. Like when you are speaking to somebody, whatever comes to your head, you speak up, don't prepare. In this way, you will find a bit of struggle for like a few days, 10 days or so. But after that, you will be in a habit of replying then and there. The mind goes blank. The reason it is, you prepared this thing that I will use these words, I will say these sentences, but in the conversation, you are not able to use them. So don't prepare. Not at all. And then this problem will go away. I'm giving you the practical tips which really help. Not to prepare at all while giving the like before the conversation. Whatever comes in the flow, you reply. And even if you make 2 or 3 errors, it's okay. We learn from our mistake. Every mistake you do is a stepping stone for you to improve more. Okay, and don't focus about using a lot of good vocabulary words. That's the last step you should do. Focus at the moment for vocabulary, the word chain activity that you already know. Practice that. That will really help you so much. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, according to you, is the English grammar is important for learning English, for speaking English?
That is important, but if a person needs to speak, so he should not start with grammar. As I say, vocabulary is the last step, so the second last step is grammar. But the first step is this: you start speaking. See, when as a native speaker, when you are learning English or Hindi, or you are learning your native language, do you learn your grammar in your native language? No. So
Oh no.
similarly, you should follow the same in English also. People do this major error. Why? See, if suppose you are starting with grammar, then what will happen? You will always keep on translating while speaking. You will wonder, am I using the correct rule? Have I used the correct rule? In this words, you will never put in the efforts to speak. So you should not do this. Don't make the things complicated for you. Make the things simple. English is just a language and anybody can learn, provided you have the right approach and guidance.
And we
Okay?
have been taught in our schooling time, English has been taught as a subject, not as a language. That's why most of the students, even teachers also, are not able to speak properly. So
Yeah, see,
that's
I tell you the traditional ways doesn't work these days. Everybody needs to adapt because I believe change is the only constant. So we should just go with the change. We should not believe whatever is happening before, the same things will survive. Earlier we were taking offline classes, nowadays people prefer only online classes. So we should keep change with the time. So every teacher should adopt change. We should not say, oh, I'm teaching in this way, why I should change. Even I tell you, I keep on learning. The things I was teaching 10 years back, I don't teach the same things today. Even till date, I keep on learning some or the other stuff. I teach, I also take some trainings all the time about mindset training, mental health, how to manage my personal and professional life, because everybody needs a trainer nowadays. We cannot manage the thing all by ourselves. So I also keep on upgrading myself. If I will not upgrade, then I cannot like go with the flow. I will always wonder, the learners are so advanced and I don't know anything. So one should always be a learner. And learning keep there are a lot of advantages of learning. It makes your mind fresh, it keeps you lively. You always feel, yes, I'm so young and I'm a learner. So there are so many advantages, and I believe there is no harm in learning. I always believe in learning.
me too, ma'am. I also like and love to learn new things. So I adopt also changes. So that's why.
Okay, so it was really lovely connecting with you, and I wish you luck that you can speak very well and very soon, and you get your desired goal of speaking very good English. All
And
the
I'm
best.
very privileged, ma'am, to have to talk to you.
Yeah, same here. Okay, bye.
It was a nice conversation with you, and thank you very much for giving me your precious time.
Thanks to me, to you also. Okay, bye.
Bye bye.